Hey guys, I'm just going to be making this little intro real quick just to explain what this series is. This series is going to be called Get to Know Your Favorite Cuber. Essentially, I just wanted to do interviews with cubers that I think are interesting and there's not a lot of information about them, or there could be more information, or just that I think they're interesting people in general. A lot of people have done interviews in the past, but all of them are generally done over Skype, and the audio isn't that great. And I just wanted to do something a little more professional, so I plan to go to the person. That's what I did for Kit, and that's what I plan to do for all the other people that I'm going to interview. I just think more professionalism in cubing videos would be pretty cool, and this just gives me a chance to further my videography skills. So Kit was the first one that I interviewed, and the lighting was really bad. The room we filmed it in had an incandescent bulb overhead, and then the window was constantly changing light because it was a cloudy day and the clouds were going in and out, so the room would get super bright and then really dark. And there was just nothing I could do about that, so bear with the crappy lighting in there. That was really bad and I'm really unhappy with it. Yeah, that's going to be the series. I think it's going to be a pretty cool series. Leave your feedback after you watch this one. Let me know what you thought, if it was too long or what type of questions you would like to see. Just give me general feedback on it because I would really like to improve this and take it pretty far. So yeah, enjoy the video and I'll see you guys later.
I'm Kit Clement. I'm 24 years old. I'm from Michigan. I'm a WCA delegate and leader of the WRC, and I'm gonna move to Oregon soon for some more fun with teaching statistics. I'm gonna do my PhD in that. And my favorite event is FMC. My best event's probably clock, but I think FMC is a lot more enjoyable. So I feel like everyone always has such a really cool story about how they got into cubing. I remember the first time I was on staff for a major competition was Worlds 2013, and we all sat together like as a staff one night. We all talked about just our cubing histories, and everyone had all these like crazy, oh, and I met this person 5 years ago, and then we met at a competition later, or there's like, you know, all these people trying to get people into cubing and things like that. Me, I just thought of a Rubik's Cube one day and looked it up on YouTube and started solving. So the thing about getting involved, like in terms of like a delegate level or any sort of thing like that, is that the first rule to get involved with it is don't say you want to be involved in it, because I think it's like a clear issue when people say like, oh, I want to be a delegate, I want to be a delegate, and it's like those aren't the people you want to have be delegates. And all of it's really on a need basis. In 2013, we had several delegates in the area, but both Chester and Ilku graduated and left Illinois and Ohio, and we were down to just Mike and Jim, both of which are very busy people, so there was really nobody in the Midwest area to delegate competitions. So they needed me, so they got me to be a delegate. My favorite thing about the community, I have to say, is that nobody is making any money off of cubing. I mean, you look at like all of like the other sort of like weird communities that exist and weird sort of competitive atmospheres. You know, you think like speed stacks, competitive like Pokemon battling, or you know, trading card games, or all these things have people that are paid to run this. They have people whose job, they work a full work week planning things out for the whole community. Cubing is done 100% on a volunteer basis. There's really, the World Cube Association is a website. It's not an association, it's just a website where records are posted. And it's kind of incredible that it has such reputability and it can still have such a strong community with nobody making any living or anything off of cubing. My least favorite thing about the community is definitely the senses of entitlement. I think that it's just kind of by nature that cubing is a privileged activity. In order to compete, you have to travel. In order to travel, you have to have money. In order to really be interested in Rubik's cubing, you also have to be typically a smart person. To be at that kind of like a smarter person, or someone that's like, because you don't really have to be a smart person to be a cuber, but you have to be someone who's interested in these sort of things. But people who get to that kind of intelligence level, they're typically in a privileged community. They grow up in privileged places. And it's kind of unfortunate to me that I feel like a lot of people that are definitely Cuber material or would probably love this community but don't get exposed to it, or even if they do get exposed to it, they don't have the means to travel and compete. And I wish that there was a more diverse group of Cubers and less of this kind of sense of entitlement among some people. No, there won't be any 2015 regulations. Basically, the WRC was kind of in limbo. Contrary to popular belief, people in the WCA actually do have their own lives. They have jobs, school, many big things all these people are doing, and we're not getting paid to do anything. It's all pure volunteer work, and rewriting the regulations is not exactly the most exciting thing to do in the world. It's not that bad, but I do see a lot of people asking, like, oh, why haven't they fixed this? Or why haven't they done this? Or this website looks terrible, this part looks awful. And it's like, everyone who's working for the WCA and putting time into making it what it is doing it purely on a volunteer basis. And I don't want to excuse that because the regulations are my responsibility, and I hope that we do have something ready for 2016. We're kind of restructuring the WRC right now. It was structured with a lot of people that were just very busy with their lives, so we're hoping to see if this new restructuring makes the regulations a little easier to handle, at least. We'll see. It's not the cubes. I don't think that actually practicing is really what keeps me in this anymore. It used to be the only reason I practiced was to keep my PB streak alive, then that ended, so I don't really practice much anymore. Really the only events I practice now are FMC and sometimes clock, mostly just to make sure I don't suck when I go to a competition. Really more just about seeing people that I've made friends with at competitions over the past several years, and it's just an awesome group of friends, and it's an excuse to travel. Yeah, it's a lot of fun beyond the cubes themselves. PBs are really not important to me for FMC. It's just kind of, because whenever you get a good FMC solve, it's because of the scramble, it's not because of you. Really, like, good solves are when you take really bad scrambles and make something out of them. That's what's cool. And I think that's what's really cool about FMC is that it's so different from every other event in the WCA, in that it's not speed. Yeah, it's like the only event where time isn't a factor other than you have 60 minutes. You're not measured based on time. It's really just a mental challenge, and you never can expect anything out of it. Going into like a 3x3 solve, I can expect I'm gonna get around 15, 16, maybe 17 seconds. That's what I average. FMC, I could get a 22. I could get a 38. I don't know. It's kind of cool. You get a wide variety of solves. I think that keeps it interesting for me. And I think that just because it's not doing the same thing every time, you have to take everything from a different approach every time you solve it. It's really just a very deep event that doesn't get stale. Plan and then overplan. Competitions run very well if everything is done super meticulously and you have a plan and you stick to it. Any sorts of like help that you can get to, get dedicated judges or things like that helps a lot too. It's not easy. People think that running competitions is super easy and everyone is like, oh, I want to run my own competition. A lot of people are ready to do those sorts of things, but it's a lot of these people are also getting significant delegate help, and not every delegate is super willing to, basically run your competition for you. You really have to be, organizing people into heats and, getting your staff set appropriately so that you can make sure that there are people available to get things done when you need to have them done. It's not like you can just show up and run a competition. The funny thing was, I've actually been to a competition before where they printed the scorecards the morning of the competition, and that was a bit of a disaster. So we got through it, but you're not going to make friends with your delegate that way. So I think the first thing that comes to mind is what really got me back into cubing after I stopped for a while. So in 2009, I'd been cubing. I'd been to like 6 competitions by then, but I was leaving for school at University of Michigan. I didn't have a car there. There were no real Michigan competitions happening. I hosted the only one at that point that ever happened in Michigan. So I kind of just fell out of cubing, both as like a combination of a lack of interest and just getting busy with my own life, trying to get acclimated to leaving home for the first time. So kind of fell out of that. But then a few years later, in 2012, I met Lauren, my current girlfriend. She just Google searched my name one night because she was trying to figure out stuff about me. She found my WCA profile because, of course, any cuber that's the top, you know, it's one of the first things that comes up when you search your name. And she was like, what is this? This can't, like, what is going on all these times? This can't be real. So I showed her how to solve a cube. A few weeks later, we found that there was a competition happening in Hillsdale, which was still one of the first handful of competitions that ever happened in Michigan. So we went and met a bunch of people I knew many years ago. James Hildreth wasn't a tiny little boy anymore, and it was really weird. And yeah, I just kind of got back into it, made some old friends over again, and been doing it since then. So I just graduated from University of Michigan the second time. This time I graduated with a master's in applied statistics. Although I didn't really care too much for the coursework, I was more there for the teaching. I taught introductory stats, 10 different classes there, and it's super fun. I'm headed off to Portland this fall to get my PhD in stat education so that I can keep teaching at the college level, because it's super fun. But I definitely like teaching, so that's where I hope to be going with my life.